Hi friends. Today is the last video in our series, and this one is going to go over cash out options. And we're also going to talk about rental options. Well, just briefly rental options and sell options. And or maybe you can just read those sections. I'm going to put this document in the description below so you can download it and you can have it in case you want to go back over it. But I think I'm gonna just take time out to talk about cash out. Because this is the option that I lean towards most, I'm gonna spend time on this one. And the other ones, like I said, I just probably overview, like just breeze over them. So the cash out of this building that we are doing right now is probably gonna be kind of low because this is a small building, but we're gonna just run over the numbers right quick and see how much money we can actually get back out of this building compared to what we put into the building. Now, these are some cash out companies that you might want to consider in case you're taking this route. And Lima One is the one that I use. And they have a minimum credit score requirement of 60%, and then they have a minimum loan amount of 50,000, and the loan to value ratio is 75%. So that's like the max they will be able to give you on the value of the building. And then you have Vizio, and then you have RCN. I don't know much about those, but I did put them in here so you can see the other options. But this one right here has a minimum credit score of 600. And for someone who might not have a higher credit score, that might be a good option. And then this one here has a 620 that they can get you in at the 620. Now, all of them are 75% now. I know there were some companies some time back that would do 85% or 80%. I think it was 80 or 85%, but now most of them are sticking right around that 75% mark. Some of them even down to 65%. So really you just got to look around and see if you can find a company that would fit your needs. To get an idea on what the value of our building is going to be, well, in regular circumstances, you're probably going to end up just hiring an appraiser who's going to come and tell you, hey, this is what we think the building is worth. They're going to just do the comps in the area and things like that. But for the purpose of our exercise, we're going to use Zillow to see what the buildings are kind of pricing for, and then we're going to go off of that. Now, that's not going to be completely accurate, but it's going to give us at least a general ballpark figure on, hey, this is where we could be. So let's do that for this exercise. So I have Zillow pulled up here, and we're going to look at this first one here, which so this is our house is 670 square feet that we're doing, and this one here is 672. And the level of quality of finish is probably going to be comparable. It's just like all white walls look like laminate flooring and things like that. So this will be a good one to use. You see what it says, $153 per square foot here. We're going to use that number. That's 153. So let's go back, and then let's check another one that looks kind of comparable. Let's look at this one. This looks like a reno or new. And our building is new, by the way. So we're going to just kind of, we're just basically guessing with the best information that we can possibly source. So anyway, and you see, this estimate is kind of lower than what they're asking for this, but this one here is 117. So we have 153 and 117. Let's try to get one more. Let's look for something that looks, this looks a bit older. I mean, it doesn't look like the square footage is about what, and these are 2 bedrooms, and the one that we have is a 3 bedroom. So this one looks kind of like not great, but anyway, so that's 154. So let's use those 3 numbers. What we're going to do is pull up the calculator here. We have 153 plus 154 plus 117 equal, we're just going to get the average of that, so we're going to divide that by 3. So right around 141. But let's just be a little bit safer than that, and let's go down to 130. And I don't know, I just picked that number out of the sky, y'all. I don't have any rhyme or reason for how and why I picked that number, but I'm just saying, well, okay, if we put all three of those together and the average of those is 140, let's just go even safer than that 140, and let's go down to 130 for our building and see what we get, okay? So our building is 670 times the 130 that we're saying the value is per square foot, we have $87,000. So let's multiply that by what they said we can get. And that's gonna give us a cash out amount of right around $65,000. So, yeah, I don't know if you saw what I did just now. So I just multiplied it by the 75% is the max loan to value ratio that they would give on this building. So the max on that is 75%. So I just multiplied what we had, which was the 87,000 by the 75%. So for this building, you can pull out right around $65,000. So let's go back to our list and see who we can qualify for. So we know that we can qualify for Lima because their minimum is 50,000. And we can also possibly qualify for RCN because their minimum is 50,000. So let's see what the other one is. Okay, 75. We won't qualify for the ones that are 75 because we don't have enough value in the building to get their minimum amount. So their minimum amount here for physio is 75,000. So you have to, your building has to be at least 100,000 value. And then you're gonna have the 75% that they're asking for, which is $75,000 in this case. So we know we can't qualify for those ones where the minimum is $75,000, but we can possibly qualify for Lima 1 and RCN. And what this does with our numbers is, and I don't know if I'm going kind of fast here, but so basically what we did at first was we went over the value of the building, the possible value of a building that we're doing, right? So this little building that we've been doing in the series is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, 670 square feet. We used Zillow to help us gauge what we could possibly get for that building price-wise, like what we can ask for that building. And that number was, well, it was $140 a square foot, but we went down to $130 a square foot, which put the value of our building at this $87,000. So if our appraiser come back and say, hey, this building is valued at $87,000, then we know that we can qualify for those two companies. Well, we can possibly qualify, and I say possibly because you know your credit score have to be right and all this stuff, right? But you can possibly qualify for those two companies because now that's going to put you in the range of $65,000 when you calculate the 75% that you can get on the loan to value ratio. The 75% would be $65,000 of the $87,000. Okay, so you're going to leave the rest of that 25% in the building because they need like a safety net for themselves. So they will give you up to, and up to being very loosely used here because they can decide that maybe they might only give you, 57,000 or whatever they're most comfortable with. Because you have the rents and everything has to match. Anyway, that's like a little bit more detailed. And I don't know if you guys want me to go more detailed into how the rents have to match up and things like that. Let me know and I'll make a video on that. But for the purpose of this exercise that we're doing, we know that we can possibly get $65,000 out of this building. Okay, now that we're caught up, let's go back and remember what it is that we put in this building. So our budget for this building was $38,000. And right now it's looking like we're gonna be a lot less than that, but let's just say we ended up at $35,000, right? So we're gonna take that 65K and we're gonna take out that $35,000 that we put in. So that's gonna give us, maybe let's call it $25,000 change, because with these cash out options, you're gonna have to pay fees. And let's just say you paid $5,000 worth of fees. So you're going to end up with $25,000. But realistically speaking, I want you to start thinking in this line. You put 35,000 in, which is actually probably going to be closer to 30,000 when we're done with this building. But let's just say you put 35,000 in and you were able to cash out 65,000. What that does, it puts you in the position of now building another building exactly or close to what you just built, and put back all of the money that you used for the first building. So having that in your head, and I don't know if that blows your mind like how it does mine, but when I think of being able to, that finding the first set of money is going to be the most difficult task for some people. But when you find that first set of money, you're going to multiply that money because you're going to take the route of doing a lot of this work yourself. And it's going to grow that money in value because once you get the building completed, now the building is worth more than what you actually put into it. And if you think about it, you have this one building that you just completed. So now you have this 3-bedroom, 1-bath that you just completed. You're renting it out, let's just say for $800 a month. And by our research in one of the older videos, you know you're going to get more than $800 a month for this. But let's just say you're renting it out for $800 a month. And the mortgage on this cash out that you did might be 600 and something, maybe $700. I don't know, right? So let's just say it's even $700. Now you're collecting $100 for that door, getting the mortgage paid. You have $25,000 cash, and you were able to replace all of the money that you put into the building. That's a lot of moving parts, but that's a lot of great things as well, because you've made yourself back to where you were before you, well, I can't say back, but basically you put the money back that you initially invested. You have 25,000 cash that you have in hand, and then you have $100 per month that's coming in from that door, plus the mortgage is being paid by that renter. Okay, so that puts you in a position to now build another building, even if you just take the 35,000 that you had and reinvest it into the next building, take the 25 and invest it into another building. Now you have 3 buildings and only one has a mortgage on it. Okay, so if we look at this from the standpoint of you reinvested the 35, you took the 25 and you put another 5 or whatever with it to get another building. You have 3 buildings, 2 buildings bringing you 800 per month, and the 1 building that's paying the mortgage is bringing you 100 per month, right? So that's $1,700 per month from one move, because you only had to come up with that money one time. But now you're getting $1,700 per month from that. And then, of course, you have to take out money that you're going to put back for maintenance and things like that. But these are new buildings. So maintenance is going to be very, very low on new buildings. Okay. So that right there, that's like super amazing. Oh, I'm having fun by myself. Excuse me. But that is mind blasting, okay? That you can just put the energy, the time, the effort into coughing up this money one time, or just like sacrificing whatever you need to sacrifice to come up with this one time. Then you cash out and then you do it a few more times. That right there, super amazing. And then the thing is that you have to look at, well, not have to, but you could look at, is those other 2 buildings that you don't have mortgages on, you can cash out on those as well. So it just keeps getting better and better and better. And you probably don't want to just keep doing that, but you want to do it to the point where now you have the amount of money coming in that you want coming in, and you can either relax a little bit more or travel a little bit more or do whatever it is that you're putting in all of this effort for, okay? You're probably doing it so that you can set up your children and your grandchildren, or you're probably doing it so that you can not have to go to your regular job all the time, or you're probably doing it so that you can just have more income along with your regular job. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, if you put in the effort and the time that's involved in doing it, you can get very good results. Okay, so that's that part there. Now, let's do the rental options. Okay, so I would suggest that if you do go the rental route, you want to use like a government program or some type of program where your rent comes in, excuse me, automatically. Well, I wouldn't say automatically, but your rent comes in without having to run behind the person to pay you. That's what these three options are here, which is public housing agencies, HUD, and then because the HUD has like the VA program as well, and then the Section 8. So and then the selling option. So now let's just go back to the numbers that we did the first time. So let's just say you did decide, hey, it was so stressful building a house. I done with the real estate industry. I never want to do it again. Or hey, I don't want the headache of renters. I just want to take my profit and go again. So let's just say you got the $87,000 out of this building because you sold it, right? And let's just say you ended up with 80,000 after the fees and things. Now let's look at those numbers. So you had the 80,000 and then you're going to pay back yourself the 35 that you have invested originally. That leaves you with $45,000. So now you can go and literally do this again. You can have all of your money back that you put in the first time. You can do this again and still have change. That is wonderful as well. But then it puts you in a position that every time you sell, you don't have that house anymore. A cash out gives you most of the money back, plus you still own the building. That's why I like the idea of cash outs. But if you don't like the idea of having a renter in there, then selling might be the best option for you. So if you take the initial route and build a building, and then you say, well, okay, I'm going to sell it. And then you have your 45K that you're left with. You can either use the 35 plus the 45 and build two more buildings and sell them, or you can put your 35 back, or put your 35 back into the next, like it reinvested into another building, take your 45 and put it somewhere to gain interest, or invested into, stocks or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor here, but what I'm saying is you're going to have that 45 or thereabout, plus you're going to have the initial 35 back that you invested. So you can do it again, make another building. And then when you sell that building, you have another 45 and you can do it again and do it again in case you have like a goal. So you say, man, I need to get 200,000 over the next however long. Then you know that you have to do this at least 5 times to get your 200,000. Okay. And then the buildings might get bigger. And if you make a bigger building, you get more profit and things like that. So, I mean, it's just so many variations to this, but I'm just trying to give you like the simplified version of it where you're going to put money in, effort in, energy in on the first leg, but you're going to get that money back multiplied should you sell or should you cash out. So that's the idea there. And I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I don't know. I have allergies or something going on today. And oh, that's all. That's that's the entire list. That was it. So yes, let's just do a review. 3 options after we're done with this building. We went through, we did all the hard work, we got the building done, we got our occupancy certificate, and we're like, okay, what's our next step? So you can take your next step as A, cash out and get some money, plus get your initial investment and still own the building. Or you can B, rent the building and don't cash out, just get your money back slowly over time. Or you can C, sell the building, get your money back that you initially invested, get your profits, and not own the building anymore. So those are some options. And like I said, this is a simplified version of it. There's a lot more involved on the backside of this, but you can do it. Just put the energy in, put the effort in, get that initial building done, get that first one under your belt. And I promise you, if you get that first one under your belt, you're going to realize that number 2 is not as hard as number 1. And then number 3 is not as hard as number 2. So it's going to keep getting like, because your experience is going to grow and all of your very valuable learning lessons, like all of these life lessons are going to help you along, because you're going to have some situations that you might not have encountered in life before, and you're going to have to work through them. You're going to have to put on your resourceful thinking cap and work through them. But guess what? After you've worked through them, now you have something in your memory bank to go back to should that situation arise again. Okay. And yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Like I said, this is the last uh video in this series. Next week, we're going to start something else. Not sure about what we're going to start next week just yet, but we're going to start something else next week. And if this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up. And if you think it can help someone else, please share. And if you're not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. That's all. Take care. God bless.